I am so excited today. I have Lenny Sharp here with me in the studio. And Lenny, I met you through EXP, which is our real estate brokerage company, and we are, we're kind of teammates. But he does run circles around me when it comes to selling houses. But you you don't even have to try. You just do it, and that's what I love about you. You're such an inspiration for so many too over at EXP, and so you're doing that. You're also a photographer. You do a lot of real estate photography, which I love. You have Airbnbs. Like you've really accomplished a lot. But what I love is your story. You have the craziest and most amazing story. You have like 10 stories within your life story, probably more.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so let's start. Like, I would love you just to start. Who is Lenny Sharp?
Okay, so I was born in South Korea 66 years ago.
I mean, let's just start there. I've never been to South Korea. I don't know.
It's an amazing place. Actually, my wife and I went back last year for the first time as tourists, and it was an amazing. I highly recommend it. The food is great. People are super friendly. It's very affordable. You need to add it to your bucket list.
Okay, because it's not one of the places that most people, at least from America or Canada, it's not a place that's really on our bucket list.
No, it's surprising. I guess it's just foreign.
It's foreign, yeah.
People, whatever, go to Europe, they can see more countries.
Well, we hear North Korea, we hear South Korea. We're like, oh, do we even want to go to that part?
Martial law that was in place for like 72 hours or something.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, so I was born in South Korea. I was actually adopted into an American family when I was 2.5 years old. Moved back to the States. Then my adoptive parents moved back for 2 years. So I actually lived as a foreigner in Korea for first and second grade.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you were born in South Korea, then you left, then you went back.
Yes.
Okay.
But I went back as a foreigner, so we lived in a foreigners community and made some friends and attended school 2 years. Have some memories from that time, but basically then lived, grew up in the States, up and down the West Coast, so California, Oregon, Washington State, and then married fairly young. Nowadays it's young. I was married when I was 23, and well, we had a couple of kids. I got into a high-tech career, did quite well. I was at Dell Computer in the very, very early days, but unfortunately I left about $10 million too early. But
oh my gosh!
Anyway,
that's okay.
Anyway, it was a good career. About 38 years in high tech. Lots of companies, moved around Texas.
But how did you get into high tech? Like, how did you get into the early days at Dell?
Well. Interestingly enough, I kind of had an aptitude for computers. I took some computer classes, programming. This is early days.
Yeah.
But I thought, this is a slow track to success. I need to speed this up a little bit. So I got a job at a computer store selling computers, and then found my way into an early computer startup, and just kind of moved from job to job, always looking for new opportunities, and was recruited and moved to Austin, Texas, and worked for Dell for 4 years.
Yeah, and even though maybe you feel like you left Dell early, you still got all of that experience with a great company that turned into something pretty incredible.
Yes, I was just at a Dell reunion a few weeks ago, so I've got great relationships from that time. It was a good time of life, and it was, experience building. And the thing is, when you look back at your life, you make choices, you change direction. How can you trade all the relationships you've made from a point in time? It's kind of like the Sliding Doors movie. I wouldn't trade that for anything. So I am where I am. It's been a good life. And after, 38 years of high tech, which also included 4 years living in Japan, which was life-changing for us.
Yeah, so then you went back to Japan, right? So you were...
Yeah, so, I went to Asia for business. I worked for a Japanese company at one point. So I was familiar with Asia from a business perspective, but had never lived there. So my company at the time offered us the opportunity to go on assignment And I will recommend to all young people out there, if your company ever decides to send you abroad as an expat, take it. It was one of the best experiences of our life, both personally and financially. That was, really, really good time. We were immersed in Japanese culture. Again, we're expats. We're living in a nice apartment, but met some beautiful, beautiful people. Strong relationships to this day, and as you can see, it's influencing my wardrobe.
We put a lot of thought into his wardrobe today.
My wife is actually an artist, and this is a print from one of the paintings that she painted from our time in Japan.
Oh, that's from the time in Japan.
Yeah.
She is so talented.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I'll pass that on.
And I love how he's so proud of you for wearing it on the interview today. Great choice.
She'll be surprised. She doesn't know I'm wearing this.
I think it's wonderful.
Anyway, so we moved back to the States, and we decided that we didn't want to. We had moved from the San Jose area to go to Japan. When we moved back, we decided we wanted kind of a slower life, something a little bit, more peaceful, if you will.
Yeah.
And we also knew that I was probably going to retire at some point. So rather than moving back into sort of the Bay Area rat race, we decided, let's change it up and let's buy the home that we want to eventually retire in. So we bought in Oakhurst, California, which is just outside Yosemite National Park.
Gorgeous area.
Beautiful. And I commuted weekly, not daily, into the Bay Area for a couple of years. Then we had COVID. I worked from home. And then after COVID, they weren't putting pressure on us to move back to the office right away. But I just had an opportunity to kind of make my exit and move into my next phase. And my wife had always told me I should get my real estate license. So I took her up on her advice. Got my license. I started out at a small brokerage, Twist Realty. Started by Courtney Twist about 13 years ago. 3 offices, kind of a, decent sized independent brokerage with like 45 agents. And then just a little over a year ago, she moved her brokerage under EXP, which
that's how you ended up
created
there.
our opportunity to
Nice.
meet.
Yeah.
And it's been a great experience. One of the things that we did when we moved to Oakhurst is we actually bought a house that was operating an Airbnb in the first floor. And so that kind of got us into that. We were inspired to do it because when we were in Japan, we had lots and lots of people come and visit. So we were basically hosting, sharing our life with others, and kind of got inspired to do that more from a business perspective. So we bought this house with an Airbnb kind of turnkey in the bottom floor. But it's nice because when we have family together, like we did this Thanksgiving, we just block the Airbnb and everybody comes and there's room for everyone.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And then
perfect.
That was going pretty well, so we bought another home in Mariposa, which is just about 40 minutes away, also in the Yosemite area, and then more recently bought a house in San Antonio, Texas. So, we've got these 3 Airbnbs and they're doing pretty well. We're living in the mountains. I'm selling real estate. Naturally,
Doing photography as well.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes.
You have your real estate photography.
I shoot for other agents, but I also shoot a lot of Airbnbs. And I just sort of gravitated towards vacation rental investors as my primary buyer's client base, and that's been very well. It's been doing very, very well. I would say probably about 75% of my buyers are Airbnb investors. And of course, I can help them get set up with management and cleaning and contractors and kind of all the people that you need to support vacation rental in the mountains. And so, they've been successful and I've been successful serving them. And even though that's not, I didn't really set out to do that, that's kind of what I fell into. And because I have the experience as a host, I can give them good advice. And that's going very, very well.
So, it's very interesting because I always tell people that we all kind of create our own little circles in our life. Like, you go try this and you do that, and your life takes you here and then it takes you there. And sometimes you feel like you're kind of lost. What am I doing? Where am I going? What is this all about? But it's funny, I do find that life always does come full circle, and all those skills that you've gained from, because I've been on TV forever. I've gotten my, yoga certification and my real estate license and all these interesting things, right? And just like you, it's now coming full circle, and it's almost like, just be patient, right? Like, what do you want? What do you have to say about that?
No, I think that's very true. And as I look at my life now, even though I would say maybe I didn't quite design it, they tell you design the perfect life.
Me either. It's okay, Lenny.
It kind of came to me, and as I developed skills and interests, I've been able to combine them. I love photography and drones, and I, fly my drone around the mountains and do that kind of work for clients. And the hosting and sort of managing the Airbnb and making the, most profit you can out of the serving the guests. Mm-hmm. I can translate that to my clients. So, it's all kind of come together.
It has.
And again, my wife, who's an artist, she's found her artist community up there, and we support each other in that. And so, that's kind of added another dimension, which again, we really couldn't have planned or anticipated, but
And this all happened in the years where some people might consider these the years of, retirement. Yeah. But you're like, I'm just getting started. Out to pasture.
I haven't slowed down much. My wife jokes that she won't let me use the R word for retire, because as far as she's concerned, I'm working as hard as I ever have. But honestly, everything I'm doing right now, I really enjoy, and meeting great people, meeting you at the conference. I just came back from EXPCon in Miami recently, met some great people there. One thing I've noticed about EXP is it's a really energetic young company.
It really is. I love it.
I don't know if have you been to EXPCon?
No, but I'm going to be going to the one in Cabo.
Yes.
So I'm going to that one. So
I'll be there too.
Oh, yay!
Yes. But it's, you kind of think of real estate as this sort of stodgy, old kind of, career. But I've, met some great people. I think that, again, there's an energy and a thoughtfulness, and I don't know, like the wheels are always turning, right? And I think that so many industries, people just kind of flatline. They just kind of get into their routine. They're not really thinking about, how can I do things better? How can I do, new things?
That's what EXP is all about.
Add skills. And met some great people. Got some great, great ideas about how to take my business to the next level.
And everybody loves combining their business, not combining their businesses, but combining ideas. Like whenever I go to, like when I went to Build 24, I probably had 10 people that came up to me and was like, how can we work together? How can we try new things? It was very interesting. It was like, wow.
And the other thing I've noticed is everybody freely shares. So
yes, freely.
Nobody worries about, okay, are you part of my organization, or are you competition? What I've noticed is there's a very, very free flow of ideas, and when somebody's successful at something, they want to share it. So that's what I came away with. And,
me too.
And one of the things I learned at EXPCon is you can build your business through video. So I'm really working on that. And I even took a certain class about crushing it on camera.
Yay! Lenny, you're taking my class right now.
Tanya Memme.
Thank you.
We're all crushing it.
You guys are all crushing it.
No, that's been really, really enjoyable. It's stretched me in some even new ways. I'm, working on not only, producing the video, but how can I come across on camera really in a more inviting, energetic way.
You're amazing. I mean, he's, here he is, you're using all these technical things in your posts. I do this 30-day challenge, and you're just like, I was like, he knows how to do everything. But yeah, it's fun seeing, you're just one of my favorites. It's fun seeing you.
Well, it's fun because it's creative. So, you know, I always had that kind of creative streak in me, and it's fun to apply it in a business, but also in a relational way. So your challenges stretch us in ways that connect us with other people, and that, you know, adds another dimension to it that makes it, you know,
awesome,
very fulfilling.
I'm glad that you're enjoying it. When you are posting a video, have that specific goal in mind.
Yes.
You know, so no matter what, if it's about real estate, you have so many different things that you can post about, you know, or whether it's about like getting people ready for preparing an Airbnb financially, or just visually, because with your wife's artwork as well. I'm sure all of her artwork is in all of the Airbnbs, right? I'm guessing.
A lot, and
so
she's actually sold some pieces off of the wall in our Airbnb. And actually, I didn't talk about this in the other interview, but our business. So when we came back and we knew we needed to start a business, and kind of what are we going to call it? So our business is called Live, Create, Connect LLC, and that was sort of the combining all of our interest, you know, live and create, which we both do, but then connect. So that kind of is the umbrella that fits over everything we're doing.
And you started that later in life too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, which is what I love. That's why you're such an inspiration, is that you've really, you've started a bunch of new businesses, but this is is what you love.
Yeah.
And it's all come together.
I'm a late bloomer.
Aren't we all? I am too. I totally get it.
Yeah,
it's more fun that way.
I mean, this is kind of, this feels like the other interview.
Yeah.
Anyway, but what's interesting is even though I had a successful career in high tech, I didn't have a college degree. I dropped out somewhere in my, you know, I guess sophomore year, but I went back to school, and I took a accredited, you know, degree online, and I turned in my final paperwork. I got on a plane to fly back from Japan. I landed in San Francisco airport. I checked my email, and I passed. I got my bachelor's degree in marketing as I was on my way to my 40th high school reunion.
Oh my gosh, you've always been a high achiever.
Well, I mean, and it was not, you know, honestly, it really hasn't affected my life that much. But it was something I wanted to do, and I did it, and, you know, 40
but
years.
It's great.
40 years.
It all comes full circle. That's what we were saying, you know?
Yeah.
So what would you say, because I feel like right now you're in a very, what I noticed about you is you're a very happy person. You do. You seem happy. You're very happy in your life. You're very, you know, you're at a point in your life where you're sort of relaxing into it, yet you're working really hard. So how do you get to that level? Like, what are some things that, you know, some little nuggets of wisdom you can share? Because I find, you know, not everybody is able to relax into their happiness at this time in their life.
Well, I think I'm, you know, by nature very optimistic. So I tend to see, you know, events and you know, things that come up in life in the more positive way. My mom used to joke about, you know, there's a pony in there somewhere, if you know that joke. Anyway, so I tend to look on the bright side of things. So whatever the circumstance, I tend to, you know, engage in it from a sort of position of joy, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that I also really like people. And so what I'm doing now puts me in contact with a lot of people, and I get joy out of that, happiness. I like to help people whenever I can. So, yeah, I guess positive mental attitude combined with, you know, engaging and really connecting with people, to me, that's a pretty good recipe.
Yeah. I mean, you bring a lot to the table with your clients too, whether it's an Airbnb client, whether it's a residential client, commercial, photography, whatever that is. And what do you feel that you do bring to the table, and how can you explain? I mean, I know, because you know.
Well, it's interesting that when you say clients, sometimes I struggle with that term because literally every client has become a friend.
Your friend, yeah.
So,
but that's what you bring to the table.
And I'll say my friend needs, and and it's like, oh, well, they are a client, but they also could use some help in this area. So I'd like to connect you to so you can help them. So I think, the relational side, also I think the analytical side. So I tend to be very sort of problem solving, analytical. And so especially with investor clients, a lot of times they come into it with, they've got an idea. They, listen to Bigger Pockets, or they've got an idea they want to invest, not quite sure how to do it, not quite sure what the pitfalls are going to be in our area specifically. So, I navigate them through the process. In one case, I had some clients that, didn't know how to, they got the 30-page application for a vacation rental permit in Mariposa. They had no idea where to start. I said, you know what, just let me do this for you. So I did their application. And it's just not that difficult, and I've been through it a few times. But, I took a real pain point for them and turned it into something positive. So, and I don't really have a lot of boundaries. My wife would say I don't have any boundaries. So, I'll help out in any way I can, kind of whenever I can. And if they have a request, if it's, not too crazy, I'll do everything I can do to, satisfy it and solve their problem. So.
And you do it willingly, and you don't, you do that because that's just who you are. That makes you happy.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah. So it's part of what makes me happy. So, yes.
So out of all the things that you do, because you do so many things, what would you say is kind of your favorite thing?
Well, honestly, the creative side, when I'm sitting down with, a bunch of content, video clips, photographs, music, combining that into a finished product and really seeing some joy out of that is probably the thing that kind of scratches my itch the most. Courtney Twiss's husband, Jared, has a company called Ranch Fence. And one of the things we've been doing is every project, he has me go shoot at least one video of the project. And just, walking around the job site, taking video of his guys welding and pounding posts into the ground. And you use your
drone, you use all kinds of
I
tools,
do it all,
right?
and for his, I usually always set it to a nice, rock and roll music track. And I mean, he's just so happy. I send these videos to him, and then he's sharing them with everybody. He goes to fence conventions, and everybody's talking about his videos. So that kind of thing, I
makes
really
you
enjoy.
happy.
It makes me happy.
So
yes.
you shoot it, and then you use all your fun tools, because I know you're amazing with all the things you know how to do.
I'll share some with you. You're going to want to put up a fence somewhere when you see.
Okay, I'm going to want
that.
Yeah,
I mean, slow motion of the welding, and it's
I want
fun.
to see it. Okay,
yes.
it's because you're so creative that way, and then so you have clients that you do that for too. No matter what the business is, you just go in and.
Yeah, I've done quite a few different kinds of projects, cool. And my dentist talked to me about doing a little promo video for his dental practice at some point. So, yeah, so that creative bent, even though it kind of sprang out of the real estate part, I love to do that work.
You love that.
I'm actually helping a nonprofit organization with a video right now for a project they're doing. So, yeah, that stuff kind of comes naturally to me, and I enjoy it. And like I said, I think I love the creative process, but I really love to see the joy that it brings others. So, I mean, if I just did it and put it on YouTube and nobody ever saw it, I probably wouldn't enjoy it that much.
Yeah, you like having.
I would still be doing it, but I wouldn't enjoy it as much as, oh wow, look at these views, look at these comments. So I do get something out of that. I like the positive feedback.
Do you feel like, and I do, but do you feel like that what you do changes lives?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
I mean, Jared still have his fence business without me, but certainly the clients that are trying to, build wealth and generate income to, to just, enrich their family. I help them solve that problem, and definitely changes their lives. And don't get me wrong, those aren't my only clients. And I've helped people sell homes that they were having difficulty selling, and that certainly, it helped.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
No, that was great. And I've helped people find homes to actually move to our area, which is also good. I like that. In fact, just on that note, a quick aside, I had a listing, an Emmy-winning filmmaker, got in an accident coming back from Yosemite, was living in a care home in Arizona, and his family, and he reached out to sell his home, and it was his dream home, and I took such joy in producing the videos and shooting the pictures and working with the buyers to sell that home. And something like that, which was really, like I said, personally gratifying, is part of what makes me tick. And I mean, he sold the home and then soon passed away. So in his mind, something very positive came out of that experience.
Yes.
And I was part of it, and that also brings me a great deal of satisfaction.
I mean, I think what happens is that when, as real estate agents, right, it's selling a house for the home sellers is a very emotional process. And many times it's not a positive one. They're selling because of a variety of different reasons, right? And a lot of times it's not always a good reason. Yeah. And so I love that what you bring to your clients and your friends, you consider them your friends, is you make it a really wonderful, great, easier experience. You really do help them through that emotional process of selling their home.
Yeah, I've got one right now that's like that. A young guy, small family, their dream home. They couldn't afford to keep it, so I'm helping them sell, and I've done some extraordinary things to help sell that home. I'm really hoping that I can make that happen for them. And even though it's kind of a death of a dream in a way, selling the home is really what they have to do right now. So anything I can do to facilitate that, brings a great deal of satisfaction.
Yeah, I can tell that means a lot to you because, I can tell how you're reacting right now. Oh, I know it's really, it's an emotional experience on both sides too, especially when you can bring a lot to the table, which I think that you do. And also, do you believe, with all of your life experience and all the different places that you've lived, and your life has kind of gone in all these different directions, do you believe that sometimes what might seem like something that's so difficult is really just you pivoting? There's a pivot that's happening, right? Like it's a redirection. So even though right now you feel like, or the homeowners that you're working with might feel like everything's coming down on them, but maybe they're being redirected into a different direction that's going to actually open up more doors and more prosperity. Like, do you see that with your life journey?
Oh, absolutely. And I have taken a lot of turns. I think that, as I look back now, I am where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And so I feel that those decision points, really led me to a positive place. And like I said, I can't really, I mean, I don't have a big regret gene anyway. I don't tend to regret.
Which is important. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and again, I think that makes you happier, because if you look back and all you see is regret, then it's going to be difficult to be very happy or content in your current circumstance. But yeah, I mean, I think I've made some somewhat difficult choices, some choices that didn't seem like they were great at the time. But, I've come to a place where, I feel good about what I'm doing and how I'm able to help people, and it's a very fulfilling life.
I love that. And the other thing too is everything that you have done and everything you've experienced is what you bring to the table with your clients and your friends and your family. And that is what also contributes to where you're at right now, feeling very content and happy. And I love that.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like, don't give up. I mean, it might seem like the sky is falling down, but you know, it's
Yeah,
because
I mean,
I too, I can agree with you.
Yeah, the don't give up is important because, you know, perseverance is what gets you through the rough. There's always going to be rough spots,
Always,
right?
yeah.
And if you give up at the first obstacle, then, you know, you're not going to be very fulfilled. So I think pushing through that, you know, looking on the bright side, seeing the future in a positive way, and then just do the work because it's all work.
It's all work anyway, right? Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all work, but
Yeah.
you know, you should get some joy out of it.
I agree. Well, I just thank you so much for taking
Well, thank you.
this time. This was so wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, this nice chat.
Yeah. And is there anything else that you want to let us know before we?
No, I think we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
I think that.
Where can we reach you? Where can we, if we want to?
I've got my business, all my real estate kind of business is at sharpmountainhomes.com.
Yep.
And I'm also Lenny Sharp on socials and stuff. I've got a website. Reach out. I'd love to connect with anybody who has a need or just, you know, some advice or perspective. I really don't have any problem at all sharing what I've learned with anybody. And I feel very strongly that, you know, if something works out that makes sense financially, great, but, you know, just, you know, try to give as much as you can, and it all works out.
Without expecting.
Yeah.
Give as much as you can without expecting, and it's
Exactly,
amazing
yeah.
what can happen.
Absolutely.
Well, I think anybody that works with you is very, very lucky.
Well, thank you.
And I know that they're in for an incredible experience. So just, you know, reach out to Lenny.
Yes.
Everybody needs a Lenny.
Thank you. All right.
You're welcome. Thank you.